Take this in. The way it was, or even the way it is, doesn't have to be the way it's going to be. You are not trapped. You can make changes. You can renew your thoughts about your body, about your flexibility, about your mobility, about your strength, about your inner calm, about your peace. You can renew it. But the first way you have to do that, you got to start out by stilling your mind. You have to be still to renew, to get a fresh start. And I know sometimes that's really hard to absorb. You think, oh, I got to just power through, power through, power through. But no, you don't. You need to stop. You need to slow down, and you need to regroup, to refresh and renew. And this is the place to do it. This is your yoga. This is your yoga from home. Hello, I'm Jan. This is 316 Yoga. This is where you do it your way, and you take the breaks that you need to. You don't hurt your body. You don't go into poses that you think, oh, the person next to me is doing it. I better be doing it that way too. You do it from home, so it kind of becomes just part of your routine, and it is your way so that it feels good in your body, nothing else. Don't hurt your body. The bottom of the screen says that. This is a 1 hour long restorative yoga practice. Sometimes people say, oh, I just can't lie around for an hour. But you're really mistaken if that's what you think it is. No, this is restoring and refreshing your body. But don't overthink it. Don't hurt yourself. Don't overthink it. Be still and just let your body do some magic that it does when you get your head out of the way. So here's a word to think about as you practice today, and it is gentleness. Be kind to you. Gentleness means not severe. It means moderate and gentle, calm, peaceful. Come to that. Come to that. We all need more of that, don't we? All right, you're going to need some props for today. I think we've only got like 6 poses to do. So we're going to hold them for a while. And we're just going to let our bodies melt into the poses and get our heads out of the way. The props you're going to need today are your bolster, your big, like a pillow from your sofa, or a yoga bolster. Yoga bolsters are great. Buy one online. Stick with your yoga. It's going to do wonderful things in your body. You're going to need 2 yoga blocks, a blanket, an eye shade, and a little hand towel if you want, and have some water nearby as well. All right, be near a wall too, because we're going to finish in legs up the wall. If you're not near a wall, that's okay. You can use put your legs up on a chair or even on your countertop behind you. It'll all work. It all works. Just don't stress over it. In fact, speaking of stress number. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10, where are you? Give it a number, and let's come on down to our mats. And I don't know if I mentioned have a strap too. All right, so come on down. Set up your blocks in this way. So you got your stress number locked in, right? Set up your blocks like the letter L. All right, and if you don't have blocks, that's okay. You can place your bolster directly on the ground. Maybe you even want to do that because you want to support your knees and with the blocks. All right, so here's how I'm doing it. Set it up like an L. Place the bolster onto the blocks. You're going to use everything you got now. We're going to start out that way, and we're going to stay here for a while. We're going to bring our back to this bolster. And to begin with, put your strap into a big circle. If you don't have a strap, don't sweat it. You don't have to do it. But this is just, I'm going to show you the max pose here, and deconstruct it to make it right for you. I'm going to bring the strap low to my bottom. I'm going to bend my knees, and I'm going to place the strap around the outside, the pinky edge side of my foot. So my soles of my feet are together. I've got the buckle in a place where I can pull the tail on this to tighten it up. Now, if you don't have the strap, no sweat. Just bring the soles of your feet together to touch. Now, if you don't like your knees hanging out in space and you're not using the strap, take your 2 blocks and you could place them under your knees at whatever height feels good to support your knees, if you like that. Try it, check it out, see what you think. I'm going to recline on this inclined bolster, and I'm going to pull on this strap. I'm going to pull it up so my heels are closer to my groin. I'm going to rest my folded blanket so it's a little bit of weight on my knees or my lap, and I'm going to come on back and recline fully here. Cover your eyes with your eye shade, and I'm going to set a timer. I'm going to say a couple things as you're getting set up, and then I'm going to set the timer. So get comfortable here. Okay, doing your yoga sometimes is hard. Change is hard and scary and sometimes painful, but nothing is as painful as being stuck where you don't want to be, being stuck where you're unhappy. Maybe you're not happy with the mobility or flexibility you have in your body, or maybe it's much deeper than that. Maybe you're not happy in whatever. But just change it. Take little steps. Do your yoga every day. Just still your mind and just kind of open up to new possibilities. And in this pose, your bound angle pose on this bolster, you're going to open up your chest. Open up in your chest. Even think of your heart opening up and just open up to new possibilities. So cover your eyes. Hopefully you're nestled in by now and you've decided, how do you want to be? And just for a moment, come up with that little mantra. That mantra of something positive. When you dwell on something, you become that. So think positive thoughts. Don't dwell on the negative. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And maybe this yoga is new for you today. And just stop focusing on the negative. Stop focusing on what you can't. Break free and renew you. All right, here we go. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to set a 5-minute timer. Bring your arms down by your sides, palms face up, kind of snow angel them out to what feels good for you. Be open in your chest. Eyes are closed. Hopefully, perhaps your eyes are covered with your eye shade or your towel. You're going to soften in your face. You're going to open up in your chest. You're going to let go of any thoughts. You're going to focus on your calm, still breathing. And don't worry about how you breathe. Just breathe deeply. Big breaths in. Big breaths out. Open up to something new, something fresh. I'll let you know when our time is up. Come back to your breath. Just deep breaths, no thoughts. Come back to your breath. Let the thoughts go. Take a deep breath in and a deep, slow breath out. And you can stay here. Stay here longer if you like. In a restorative practice, we hold the poses 3, 5, 7, even up to 20 minutes longer. You can hold your poses. If this pose is particularly speaking to you, if you're enjoying the open feeling in the chest and your legs are enjoying this nice stretch, stay here longer. It's your practice. I'm going to come into a supine twist that's a little different. If you'd like to join me in that, make your way out of this pose. Start to take things apart. Maybe you can keep your eyes closed most of the time. That's nice and restful. Maybe press into your hands. Come up off of your bolster. Don't let your blanket go too far away because we're going to use that in the next pose. And remove your strap if you used it. And we're not going to use that in the next pose, so you can put that aside. For your supine twist, what we're going to do today is we're going to use the bolster and the blanket. So put your blocks aside. And bring the blanket folded. It's going to be like a pillow for your head. Bring it up to the top of your mat. And bring your bolster with you and have it, I'm going to start on my left hip. All right, so I'm going to start on my left hip. I'm going to bring the bolster beside me at about waist height and bring it on down toward your legs. Lie onto your mat so your head is on your pillow or on your blanket. Bring the right leg, the top leg up and let it rest on the bolster. Scoot it on down a little bit so your ankle is at the same height as your knee. That feels really nice. So think supine twist. Here you go. This is a big one. Tee out your left arm. Tee out your right arm and take this big twist here. So big twist in the waist, right? You're going to work your right shoulder down toward your mat. Right arm is teed out and so is your left arm. Your leg is well supported. Your left leg, the bottom leg, is long on your mat. And you're going to breathe here. We're going to do 5 minutes on each side, which seems like a long time. But you're going to really enjoy this, especially when it's done. So eyes are closed. You could have your eye shade or your little towel covering your eyes. It's always nice to cover the eyes when you can in your restorative practice. It encourages peace and calm and gentleness, which is our word for the day. And it just helps you focus inward. Maybe you'd like to engage your Ujjayi pranayama breath now. That's closing your lips and breathing in and out of your nose as is comfortable for you. Maybe your neck is slightly turned to the right. Breathe. Soften and let go. Soften in your jaws. Soften the area between your eyebrows. Find stillness as you enjoy this deep twist. Maybe your right shoulder can go down more to the ground as you exhale more deeply. Bringing your navel towards your spine, taking that deep twist. Take a deep breath in and a slow deep breath out. And here's another little thing you can do if you want to intensify it even more. Your top leg, the right leg, the one that's resting on that bolster, maybe you like it right there, or maybe you want to straighten it out and extend it and let the big toe side of the foot rest on the earth. Maybe that feels nice. It'll deepen your stretch a little bit. And if you don't like it, you know what to do. You can always peel the layers back. In this case, bend the knee again and rest it on your bolster. You do what feels best for you right now. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. You can stay here longer if you like, but just remember to give the other side equal time too. So to come out of it, bring your gaze back up to the sky, bring your legs long to the midline of your body. This is a pretty easy transition for you. I'm going to do it a little differently. So you don't have my bottom at the camera. You can just pick up the bolster and sling it over to the other side. And then come onto your left hip. Just roll on over, take the same pose on the other side. So I'm shifting, like I said, so my bottom's not facing the camera. I'm going to come onto my other hip. I'm going to scoot the bolster on down. Rest my head, tee out my arms, and come into this supported supine twist for the same amount of time as we did on the other side, 5 minutes. So get where it's comfortable for you. Adjust your bolster, take the time. Bottom leg, this time the right leg goes long. Left leg is on the bolster, arms are teed out. And try to work your head to the left. Maybe you got your eye shade. It could cover your eyes here because your head's not going to turn that much to the left. Breathe. I'm going to scoot my bolster down just a little bit more so I can even support my ankle even more so on the bolster. Deep breath in and deep breath out, belly button to the spine. And remember that top leg, the one that's resting on the bolster, you can extend it if you like. And see how that feels. How's your left shoulder doing? Can you bring it down a little closer to your mat and maybe even turn your neck a little bit more to the left? Deepen your breath. Come back to the sensations in the body, no thoughts in the mind. Okay, we've done 5 minutes here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. If you're going to stay longer, enjoy the pose. If you're going to come out, slowly bring your head back to the midline of the body so your gaze would be up toward the sky if you had your eyes open. Bring your left hip down. Take a brief pentacle pose. Spread your legs wide. Spread your arms high overhead. Not very long. We're just going to stretch it out here and even out what you got. Breathe in, breathe out. And don't underestimate the power of these long isometric holds. Your brain is working 1,000,000 miles a minute. It is absorbing and observing and paying attention to how deeply you can go in the pose, to what your body is feeling, and it's creating new thresholds of movement for you. It's allowing you to move more freely, to be more flexible and more mobile. Breathe. Just let the yoga work its magic. Your pentacle pose is just kind of a reset to the midline of your body. Deep breath in, belly goes up to the sky, and a deep breath out, let it go. All right, we're going to do another two sides of the body pose. You can stay here longer in pentacle, or if you want to join me in your shoelace pose, it's good for your hips, good for your glutes. Work your arms on down by your sides, work your legs back together at the midline of your body. Slowly press on up, and we're going to come up to a seated position. All right, shoelace. This one's intense. Lots of modifications and variations for this. That's what it's all about, modifications, right? Okay, so you could sit cross-legged, no problem. You could take your two blocks. You could place them underneath your knees. You could also use your folded up blanket to sit on. Sit on just the edge of it, so it tips you a little bit forward, a little more comfortable. Totally fine. I'm going to take it a little deeper into shoelace, but don't let your blocks go too far, because we're going to use those in another way. I'm going to bend my knees greatly, working my right heel back to my left hip crease. My left leg I'm going to bring on top and work that heel kind of toward the hip crease. So I've got my feet here like two little ears on a bunny rabbit. I can hold on to my feet. I can lengthen up through the crown of my head, and oh boy, can I feel that in my hips. You could place your blocks in front of you, maybe like in the shape of an upside down letter T. We're going to do this one for about 5 minutes too. So get comfortable here. Breathe in, breathe out. This is a great pose in which to evaluate. If you're truly in pain, come out of it, but distinguish between pain and discomfort. We say that a lot. If it's just uncomfortable, you can deal with uncomfortable. You've dealt with and you are dealing with many uncomfortable things. Hold on here and breathe through it. Use your breath. Inhales empower you, and your exhales, think of releasing the breath to your hips to let that tension go. But don't ever put up with pain. You know pain, it's that sharp feeling, oh, it's not right. Pain you come out of. Discomfort you conquer. Breathe in, breathe out. And if it feels right for you, you want to take it a little deeper, you can hinge forward a little bit. Now I know some of you like to hinge forward a little bit and then come on back up, crown of the head to the earth or to the sky. Use breath to soften your hips. Maybe you lean even more forward in that block setup you have. Maybe you can rest your head on your blocks. Soften in your shoulders. And really rest your head. Let your head be heavy here. Maybe scooch the blocks a little more forward, so it's kind of like the bridge of your nose resting on the blocks. And you know that if you need a little break, you take it. Maybe you lift your head up. Maybe you work the shoulders back over the hips. This is your practice. You make it work for you. Don't strive to get into a pose just for the sake of the pose. You are here to use these movements to feel good in your unique body. And as time ticks on, maybe you decrease the height of the blocks. Hollow out your belly. As you exhale, belly button really far back to your spine. See how that feels. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Slowly make your way back up to a shoulders over your hips position. How are you doing? All right, let's come out of this one. Switch it up. All right. So I had my left leg on top. Now I'm going to switch it around so my right leg is on top. Sit the way that is right for you. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Get into position in your legs. Maybe stay here for a bit. Maybe stay here for the entire 5 minutes. Time is ticking, I promise. Breathe in, breathe out. Soften your shoulders. Soften your jaws. Maybe lean forward a bit or not. Your blocks can be a target toward which to aim. All you want to feel here is that nice stretch in your backside, in your glutes. And I'm sure you're feeling it. It is not necessarily the most comfortable pose in the world, right? Yeah, this is not super comfortable, but it's not painful either. But you're just taking your time to release into the pose.
Let the tension in your hips go. I think oftentimes we just are really holding on and we don't even realize we're holding on, because that holding on is our new normal. That holding on is where we think our midline is, where we think that's just the way it is. No, let it go. Send your breath to your hips. The way it is isn't how it has to be. Let it go. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. You did it. Slowly make your way up so your shoulders are over your hips. And let's come into a well-deserved, desirable pentacle pose. All right, uncurl your legs. Recline on your back. Take your time, enjoy the journey, that's the best part. Spread your legs wide, pinky toes toward the edges of your mat, arms high overhead, big capital letter X shape. Relax in the hips. Breathe in, breathe out. That's simple. You can stay here if you want, or you can make your way towards your wall if you want to do legs up the wall. You can do it literally up the wall, or you don't have to use the wall at all. Here's a variation. If you have a chair nearby, you could bend your knees and have your calves resting on the seat of the chair. That's a lovely pose. You could send your legs high, draw your toes towards your shins, and just hold them here. You can make your way to the wall, which is what I'm going to do. Or, if you got a counter nearby, just throw your legs on up. All right, I'm going to bring my eye shade and my blanket, and let's make our way to the wall. So bring your blanket. Lots of things you can do with it. You can put your bottom on the blanket. You could have the blanket for your shoulders, or you could have the blanket to put on your belly. So just play with it. Make the yoga work for you. Scoot a hip up to the wall. Send your legs up the wall. You're not at a perfect 90-degree angle. You've got a little bit of, your bottom's a little bit away from the wall. Cover your eyes just because that's so nice. Maybe cover the belly with the blanket, or place the blanket underneath your shoulders and your head. I think I'm going to do that today. Arms down by your sides. Or, sometimes we place one hand on the heart and one hand on the belly. That'll help you focus inward if you like that. Another option, if you want some goodness in the shoulders, you could bring your arms up overhead, reach for opposite elbows, and rest here. Maybe draw your toes toward your shins, letting your tailbone come down even more onto the ground. And lots of other things you can do with your legs too. Remember, you can bend your knees. That, I feel instantly, that alleviates tension on the low back. Maybe you like that variation. You take whatever position you like. All right, this is going to be another 5-minute pose here. Soften the area between your eyebrows. Shoulders are soft and relaxed away from the ears and down into the earth. Deepen your breath. Take a deep breath in and a slow, deep breath out. This is your legs up the wall pose. This is a great pose to do before you go to bed at night. It'll help you sleep better. So maybe remember this and maybe try it for 10 minutes tonight before you go to sleep. You're welcome to stay here if you like or make your way into Final Shavasana. So gently come off the wall. I'm going to bend my knees, roll onto one hip or the other, and make your way maybe back to your mat. All right. So maybe you stay longer in your legs up the wall pose. It's a great pose in which to be. I'm going to come into Final Shavasana. So eye shade, blanket, and for me, I like the bolster underneath my knees. Maybe you put blocks underneath your feet to keep your legs a little lifted. That's kind of nice. It alleviates some tension on the low back. Maybe you put the bolster down there and rest your heels on it. I like it under the knees. You don't have to have anything at all to enjoy this pose. I'm going to come to fully reclined. I'm going to cover up to some degree with the blanket. I like it on my belly. Maybe you cover completely up, or you place it on your feet or your calves, whatever, or your shins, whatever feels good. I'm going to cover my eyes, arms down by my side. I'm going to wiggle my shoulders a little closer to my spine. So we'll stay here for about 5 minutes or longer if you want. Breathe deeply, any way you like. Whatever allows you to just fully nourish your body. I like deep breaths in through the nose and a couple sighs out through the mouth. Letting it go. Letting any residual tension go. Refreshing breath in through the nose. And let it go through the mouth. Then I like to close my lips and come back to that Ujjayi pranayama breath. Soften the area between your eyebrows. Soften your shoulders as well. Allow your limbs to be heavy. And allow your breath to be light. No thinking. Let the thoughts go. Just come back to you, to your breath. Soften your jaws. Remove the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Soften in your face just a little bit more, whatever that means to you. The cheeks, the eyebrows, the ears. Soft. Be perfectly still, just your belly rising and falling with the breath. Take your deep breath in and your deep full breath out by sighing it out through your mouth. Stay here longer in this fantastic pose of Final Shavasana. If you like, you could hit your pause on your remote and stay here longer. If it's time for you to conclude your hour, think, just for a moment, think of a spark of energy in the toes and at the fingertips. Just think of that spark. And then work the fingers and toes into movement. Then work the motion up into the wrists and the ankles. Circle them out. Inhale, reach high overhead and take a big good morning stretch as if it were the first stretch of your day. Exhale, bend your knees. Maybe scoot the bolster or blocks or whatever you use to side. Roll onto one side or the other. Come into a fetal position. Rest your head heavily on your bicep of the bent lower arm. Soften your top shoulder even. Savor a couple of deep cycles of breath here with the eyes closed. Stillness, gentleness, peacefulness, right here, right now. And then slowly, as you're ready, maybe keep your eyes closed as it just feels nice. Gently float on up to a comfortable seated position, whatever is comfortable for you. I'm still going to love on my blanket because it just feels nice. Hands to prayer center, lengthen up through your spine. Have a moment of gratitude for all that you've got. Your health, your flexibility, your mobility, your strength. May not be exactly where you want to be, but you're working on making it better and better. Take a deep breath in and a deep, slow breath out. Gently blink your eyes open. You did it. You didn't overthink it. You were still. You took time to just still the mind. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to still the mind in this day and age of just all the craziness and all the instant information we all have. But it's so important to just recalibrate and restore, to refresh, and that is what you did. Hopefully the yoga worked its magic in your body. Go back to that number you took in the beginning. We called it the stress number. What was it? And more importantly, what is it? Doesn't matter what it was. It matters what it is right now. I'm really glad that it's lower, because it is lower, right? So just keep in mind, the way it was, even the way it is, isn't the way it has to be. So come back to your yoga, restore, you're not trapped, do what you can with what you got, and make each day better than the day before. Love you guys. See you on your mats tomorrow. Remember the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. See you tomorrow. Love you guys. Goodbye. Hi guys, how are you? How you doing? You guys did great. You love your yoga.